day and welcome to the Power Up. I'm your host, Tami Hill Thomas. So glad that you're joining me today as we get equipped, educated, empowered, and elevated together. Let's get started by responding to a viewer inquiry. I love when you all send questions to the We Empower Network or just approach me one on one wanting to ask questions about personal development, professional development, character traits, relationships, communication strategy. We're all in this thing together called a human race. So, whatever we can do, whatever I can offer, and whatever you can offer to me is what makes us absolutely that much better. So, our inquiry comes from a wonderful professional who recently was downsized from their job. I don't know if it was male or female. Used the acronyms RIF, RIF, which stands for reduction in force. Basically, they were fired or laid off or terminated and now have to shift. Now, one of the interesting comments about this particular email is he kept re-emphasizing, I didn't do anything wrong. This was management's decision. How do I present myself as I move into a new career? I love the question because it emphasizes that there's movement happening. First of all, there are some people that when shifts in life happen, they get stuck mentally. It's hard to move forward. It's painful. You get stuck in the woe is me type of context that it should have never happened and I deserve better. And while you do, and all of those feelings are valid, it's important to know that there's still in front of you that holds your best. So what you want to do is make sure that as you're shifting through this season, as there's a transition that's happening in your life, a shift, if you will, that you remember that you've been through transitions before, shifts before. It might not have been a riff where you were laid off or fired from a job, but you've had to bury loved ones, right? You've been in positions where you've had to deal with figuring out how to move forward when it didn't work out the way you planned. Maybe you relocated to another state or had to bury mama or dad or your best friend or even a breakup with your boo. Sometimes there are things in life that those peaks, those valleys, what we experience that are full of great experiences and lows and in between, but you've shifted through them all. In other words, you are a master at starting over, new beginnings, starting back at one. So first, take courage and everything you need that you pull deep from within you to say, yes, I can. I got this. It hurts. So I'm going to get therapy, or I'm going to call somebody and talk about it, or I'm going to increase movement and start working out. I'm going to find a way to not get into a depressed state and keep my mind healthy while I'm trying to keep my body healthy. If I got up and caught the train to go to work every day while I'm going through this, I'm going to keep my body moving. I'm also going to speak positivity into my life and into my atmosphere. I'm not going to let this have its control over me. I'm going to find the all-powerful me and control it. Yeah. Again, might not feel good, but in the end, when you look back, you're going to say, I made it through that. And not only did I make it through it, but I didn't give it the power to beat me down. I decided I was going to be resilient. I was going to persevere and push. I was going to endure whatever it was. And I was going to rise up in this space so that everything in me, even what I'm not thinking about, what I'm just feeling, will help me in this moment. Some of the things you have to think about during a shift is what you need to support you in that particular moment. I'll give you an example. You mentioned, my viewer, this isn't because of anything you did. This didn't happen to you because of something you have done. This is totally a management decision. Well, there are mass layoffs that happen all the time. Individuals receiving pink slips, it's not uncommon. It's just you didn't plan on it. So now you have to deal with it. So start with what that means. I need to get centered and settled. I need to tap into my faith, or I need to figure out what I can do to keep my hands and feet working, because then my mind is constantly working. And while I'm doing that, getting me right, let me take this opportunity to grow in the midst of it. Take it and spin it as an opportunity. I did something the other day I hadn't done. There are free online courses at many prominent universities and colleges, the institutions of higher learning. Some of them are certificates and some of them are just lessons to enrich you. I started doing that because I wanted to grow me. I also know how important YouTube University is. You can listen to video after video after video from those who are experts in different fields that pour knowledge into you, so that when you have dialogue, when you have that interview in front of you, when you have to now deal with new people in a new environment, doing new work, that is on my tongue, it's in my mind. I'm keeping my brain fresh and my knowledge relevant. But you can grow through this, in this, so that you're better for the next level. Because honestly, that's all it is. Shifts are like rungs on a ladder. It's just taking you to the next level. But you have to have in your mind and make the decision that it's only up from here. That whatever this is, even if I fail, I'm falling forward. I'm going to make this a progress step. I'm going to find a way to keep moving, to keep, if it's an army crawl, pulling myself by the elbows. If I have to pray and cry, whatever it is that you need to lift you, to keep you focused, tapping into those experts and people around you. Maybe you never had a conversation with a financial advisor. Now would be a good time, because experiencing a rift means that check is ending. You now have to adjust some money somehow, unless you had a job already ready waiting for you, or other things that you're tapped into that are multiple streams of income. So if you're starting all over with an employer, right? Or even if you take this opportunity to start your business, there's still knowledge that you need. There's still connections that have to be made. Financial advisors are wonderful because they live in the world of the dollar. They can talk to you about mortgage payments and interest and credit cards and those type of things you don't think about. You're just looking at your little bank account. They have knowledge into what the interest rates are doing right now, what the stock market might be doing, how your 401 or 403b might be moving, shifting, right? Money is changing right now. Maybe you should tap into that individual so they can speak to you and educate you as well. While you're growing and assessing, consider your emotions. What do you need to help you get through what you're dealing with so that you can actually be happy, get to that happy place, at least be in a place where you're in all things being content, right? Because money isn't where your happiness lies. That job and the work might have been wonderful, but you're the one that makes you happy. So take that and figure out, what did I love about that job that I now want to shift and take with me to my new experience? I'll give you an example. Folks who know I direct a career development center. And one of the things that I love to do as a trainer is build adults. So my focus is on adult learning. I love helping grown folk know there's more to life. You can't stop now, right? So I'm a trainer. Every day I'm teaching a skill or training individuals to help grow. And I often share with folks that as I'm training them, I'm training myself. And so I learn in those moments of what I've done that if I had to leave this job, there are some things I love. So I want to find a career or get with a business that's doing the things I love. Who wants to hate going to work every day? It's time to love what you do and do what you love. So while this shift now has your attention, consider what the industry is that you'd ultimately like to work in. Your customer service professional have always wanted to work with a large hotel chain. Consider moving into the hospitality industry. If you always wanted to work with big government or your local city government, they're hiring. Look and see what even your county government might be doing. Take your skills to the next level that can impact what works for you. You've always wanted to work closer to home. Now you have a time to focus and tailor the jobs and saturate the industry that will bring you joy. I've always loved working in the school system and with kids. Okay. Medical professionals. I've always, since the pandemic, wanted to be back with a hospital or find a way to support. I'm just an accountant, but working at a hospital would be great. Okay. There are industries that need you. Logistics, the airports, whatever it is. If you love it, consider moving and shifting into that industry. Now, that comes with cost. In other words, you want to know what's going on in that industry. So you need to also take time and saturate yourself with the knowledge, connect with that network, okay, so that you can know the language. If you hadn't been in the medical field all these years, but you want to become an accountant in the medical field, then you need to get information about the language and communication vocabulary that happens in the medical field, especially in accounting and money. That way, when you go for that interview, you're elevated in knowledge. Come on, somebody. Did y'all get that tip? It's not that you can't do it. You want to be prepared as you're going through this process. You want to grow as you're going through this process. And most importantly, stay positive and focused that it's just the process. So trust the process. See, when we got married, when we have weddings, right? When we get married, we plan the wedding, we do all these wonderful things, right? As part of the planning, invitations and all the little details, because it's ultimately about the big day. But it takes all of the planning and little details to make the big day happen and be successful and be memorable. You're putting your money to something. You want to look back and go, man, my wedding was like a movie. When you think about marrying that wonderful individual you made your spouse, you want to smile and feel like you did it the way you wanted to do it. You went to the justice of the peace, you saved some money. So you have the opportunity to revel in that. Enjoy the choice that you made and the fact that it's just getting to you the next step. What am I trying to say? That it's a process. You're not going to put up a tent and take residence and start getting mail in this moment. And it doesn't have to be a valley experience or a dry place or your winter. There are seasons to life. But how can you make this so that it's nourishing, so that it's something you look forward to? I shared this with an executive earlier who is dealing with a similar situation. And they said, it's just so hard now. I'm putting my laptop on my lap. I wake up, I'm on the bed. I stay in my pajamas all day. It's just so. And I challenged them. And I said, you didn't work in your pajamas. You didn't even work in your bed. How about keep a routine that helps your mind shift? So when you go to bed, it's your place of rest, not and work, not and depression, not and struggle. It's, that was a long day. I'm ready to rest. So take your laptop and go to the library and do your job searches or your emailing, or even just go to the living room table and make that your workspace. And yes, Get up and shower. Get up and walk. If you have time now during a rift space, you're not clocking in 9 to 5. You have the ability to get up, find moments of meditation, or get your boogie on and do some jazzercise in the morning. Something that will help you stay healthy and keep your mind elevated. Because knowledge is power, but a mind and what your thoughts are will drive you to feel that depression, to stay in that stuck state. And what you want to do is thrive. I'm going to thrive in this because, the one thing this showed me is that no job is forever. Because if you got riffed by management choice wasn't of you, then it could happen again at another job. So what are the lessons you've even learned from this experience, right? How can you become loyal to you? Make sure that your money is working for your future versus planning on that pension and retirement check. Not saying it's easy. There is nothing in life that is just easy all the time. Some people struggle just to get up in the morning, right? I'm not a morning person. I don't struggle. I'm just comfortable in my bed. I'll wait till later to do what I have to do. But there are some people, they're up and at the office or commuting at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, just so they can be at work, clocked in at 6 a.m. Ain't that something? There are some folks that are so gifted, they can work in different type of scenarios and different spaces and love it. How about you? How can you make this moment a way to propel you, a way to push you, a way to help you leap so that where you land is what you want? Okay, so now let's also talk about the fact that you're transitioning between careers. Because once you get your mind right and you meet with a financial advisor and really get real about your money, how you can cut some things that aren't necessities, because you can always get them back. But for right now, we're going to do what we got to do to make sure we're good in this space, right? So after you do all of that, then you start preparing for the next level. You're growing in knowledge, you're listening to videos, you're reading books, you're doing whatever helps you thrive. Yes, even helping yourself physically, health-wise. But then now career, I have to make sure I'm moving. So yes, there's the search engines that are where you would find those jobs. There's the updating your resume so that you can make sure it is the perfect picture of you in a word form. And for some folks who are shifting maybe from the 5-page resumes that the federal government may have used for years now to 2-page resumes that are more acceptable and palatable in the nonprofit world or in the for-profit world, right? You've got to figure out how to take the wonderful stuff you love that you put all that in 5 pages and prioritize it in bullets that are best and easiest to see, so that when you're number 300, that they say, oh no, I want to meet with them. That's a great name. What jumps out that shows them you? And I'll just hold on and go for a second and give you this quick tip. When you are doing your resume, when you are shifting from a large one to a much smaller, condensed version, consider making sure that you add quantifiable data. Numbers speak volumes. I answer a line of 3,000 phone line, right? A switchboard of 3,000 phone line. Or I support 4 executives. Or I'm overseeing grants that total more than $70 million. Or I've helped individuals on a daily basis. I provide customer service for a specific program, and this program houses this many individuals. Whatever you need to put in a smaller version, if able, as much as possible. Add a quantifiable number. Numbers make a resume pop. Everybody can put leadership skills or manager, or they can put team lead, or they can put customer service. That's great. I'm going to see 300 of those. What's different with yours? Give me something that's going to pop to make me say, I got to meet with them. When we're moving quickly, scrolling through, eyeballing resumes, just remember that you want it to be the way you want individuals to think of you before they even meet you. best at this, awarded this, received this, right? Okay, quick tip as you're shifting through your career journey. So when that gives you an open door opportunity to meet with the individual, you can really pour it on and let them know, I'm so glad to meet with you today. I can elevate your agency because I know that you over the last year have. Do your research before you go meet with the folks, right? So now you're giving, I see that you've done this in the community, that you've sold this, your sales are in this bracket, or you support this many people. You just received a government contract for such and such. Well, I'm the best to bring on your team because my government contract experience includes, right? Like you're ready. It's going to be a journey. It's going to be work. Sometimes it's a full-time job looking for a full-time job. That's a reality. Does it mean it's not worth it? Every experience educates you to make you better. Okay, I shouldn't have said that at that interview. All right, let me be ready for the next one. Oh, I didn't take a hard copy of my resume. So when they started asking me what my experience was, I didn't have it right there in front of me to give those dates. Oh, everybody's going to always ask the what's your strengths and weaknesses question. And I didn't have a response. So from now on, let me go prepared with an answer. My strengths are, my weakness is, I don't often say no. I'm quick to respond and be a team player. But that is something that I'm working on. I just enjoy people. Just trying to give somebody a tip with that as well. But it's just your journey. And right now is simply a process to get you to that next level. Can you imagine once you get that new job and you're rocking it and you actually are enjoying going to work, free parking, I've been paying all these years, or Tammy, I got a job with just a little bit more money, or it's closer to home, so I don't even have to drive and sit in traffic. It's a few blocks away. All that's waiting for you. But you have to go through the process. So for my viewer who started with the fact that you're experiencing something that I just have to imagine is uncomfortable, being fired or laid off from something that you've been committed to is hard. Any separation is hard, right? Death. Saying goodbye to loved ones, that hard, that divorce is hard. Like even watching your kids grow and go is hard because they've been right here under your arm all these years, and now you've got to let them. There are things in life that are always going to test you, but you've made it through those. Sometimes, family, you have to look back. You got to pull from your wins. You got to think about those things that you made it through, that you made it over. Sometimes you've got to think about, man, I've been a single mom now for 10 years. I've been able to work it out and take care of some babies, and they're all graduating and they're doing good in school, or I don't have to worry about any issues. They're mannered, all that. I can do this. Sometimes it's little things, but let me be the one to remind you of your greatness. See, because little things matter. Everything you've done thus far has helped you to get to this moment. Everything. Every fall, every mistake, every time you had to apologize, every time you had a regret, all of that stuff got you to here. So now all of this is getting you to your next space. Find a way to make it work for you so you're not fighting it against you. New opportunity is one of the things you should write down and look at every day. This is a new opportunity. It is. You're going to start at a new job. You're not going back to that one, right? So it's something new. It's going to be different, but I can embrace it as an opportunity. Let me get educated on some things. Let me join some networks and get part of some clubs or find out where I can learn information. Let me update my LinkedIn profile and let me get more relevant on social media. Let me learn about artificial intelligence and how that can be an assistant to give me information and ideas that I hadn't thought about before. Let me elevate and shift with this process instead of fighting against it. Maybe I need therapy in it. This felt so bad that I immediately went back to some stuff that happened in the past, and I haven't been able to stop crying, Tami. This has really been hard. You acknowledging it's hard is the first step. Now get the help you need. There's free mental health care. You can go to most churches or faith-based communities and talk to counselors, people who are intentionally there to save space, to give you a confidential opportunity to process, be a sounding board, right? There are coaches and mentors. You see somebody doing what you want to do. I've always wished I could do that. Find out what their secret sauce is. Connect with them. DM them, send them a message. I would love some advice on such and such. Why not? At this point, it's all new and full of opportunities. Every beginning of the calendar year, we do vision boards where we map out what we'd like to accomplish before December 31st of that year. This is just your start to a new season, a new calendar year for you. It's a brand new opportunity. So let's write out your vision. Let's write some goals. Let's connect with people that can help you win and maximize this moment. Yeah. Even when it doesn't feel good, doesn't mean it's not good for you. Because I guarantee when you look back at this time next year and say, I took some of those free online classes and now I know. I tapped into AI, never used it before, didn't have to. Now I know. I decided that I was going to become a culinary expert. I love cooking. I was just hating my job, and every night and every weekend I would go home and bake. I decided I'm going to start my business out of all of this. Now you know. You can do it. Whatever the it is in front of you, family, no doubt, only up from here. Surround yourself with what you need. Enrich yourself with what you can. Tap into the resources around you and grow with the process. Family, we hope this was helpful. Thank you, viewer, for sending your question. It's really important to know, as you said, RIF was not your fault, okay? So as you learn how to release that and grow in this process and say, okay, well, now I'm going to be loyal to me. I'm going to be Team Tami. If nobody else wants to be on this team, I'm going to live out loud and on purpose. I'm going to the graveyard empty, because if tomorrow is my last day, I want to do all I can to live right now. You deserve it, family, without a doubt. Everything in front of you. Viewer, when you get that new job or step into that new opportunity, make sure and write us back. We celebrate with you as you go through this process and connect with new, and can't wait to see your impact on the planet. I know it's going to be phenomenal, all because you already are. Thank you so much for joining us, family. We hope this Power Up has given you just a little more information and inspiration to go ahead and change the world. As always, we thank our first responders, our 911 responders, and emergency personnel that run into harm's way when the rest of us are leaving. Medical professionals, caregivers, teachers, whatever you do, whatever you are amazing. And the world needs you now more than ever. We hope to see you on our next Power Up. You take care.